It's just work. We're trying not to take it too seriously.
But really, it is your career and you need to take ownership of it.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Career Diaries. We've missed you guys. It's been a minute since we did this
Yeah,
in person.
it has.
It's good
It
to be
has.
back
Yes, it
at
is.
one of our studios. We wish, but yeah, it's good to be back, and we've wrapped up our new immigrant series,
Mhm.
and we're launching a new series. We're not sure of the title, but maybe something like landing the offer. So basically, we want to take you guys through a journey that teaches you or gives you pointers regarding how to land the offer.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be a 3 or 4 part
Yep.
series where we talk about various things that
Mhm.
help you land the offer.
Mhm.
So our first episode in this series is cracking the code, and we're going to really touch on some key interview questions that we've probably heard 1,000 times. We've probably been asked these questions at different
Yeah.
interviews. A lot of times we are ill prepared to answer them because we think that they're easy questions. Tell me about yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm
Yeah.
that. But there is psychology, there is science behind these questions, right?
Mhm.
And we're going to be talking about how to answer them intelligently to help you be a standout candidate and land
The
the,
offer.
the offer.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dickems, for sharing that. And yeah, we'll just get right into it. So, the very first, which I know, like everyone who has obviously done an interview, will probably be familiar with by now. Tell us about yourself.
Yes.
That sentence, as simple as it is, can, I don't want to use the word, but maybe for lack of better words right now, can make or mar the entire interview.
Mm.
But you want to keep it, very short and succinct. Is the word right? Where you just, give, like, you share very briefly your professional journey from whenever time to date. Key highlights, like what you're doing or you're currently doing at that particular time, and then what excites you most about that role. So just, keeping it along those lines. So maybe, for example, oh, my name is Bukola George. I
Mm.
have over 15 years experience in the human resources space. I've worked across all of the HR value chain, from talent acquisition to learning and development, performance management. And something I'm really doing right now is just, exploring the how, if using Gen AI into making better insights, and helping us make better decisions when it comes to performance. And what excites me most about this role is just the opportunity to be able to do, again, the leveraging AI to, make better insights, make better data driven decisions. And I'm really really excited about the kind of culture that you have as well. Innovation, innovative culture. I'm just saying this by the fly, by the way, guys. You can see that, right? But you get the gist. You get the gist of what I'm saying. Like, you don't want to go so deep into, oh, I was born in November 11. My parents are from Ogun State. Oh, I'm currently living now in
I'm a
like,
Christian.
I'm a Christian. I'm married. I
Serious.
have kids. I have, you don't need to go all that whatever. Like, you
Yeah.
don't need all of that stuff. Just keep it straight to the point, and bring it back home. Tie it back to why you are there. Like, why am I here?
Yeah.
I think that would be great.
Absolutely. The next question we have is, so Bukola talked about the beginning, which is tell me about yourself. So the next question I'll answer, of course, this will not be the sequence in an actual interview,
Yeah.
but it's actually jumping to the end or maybe the middle when they ask you, why are you leaving your current role?
Mm.
Now, always remember that these people don't know you. They don't necessarily know the organization you're coming from in
Yeah.
terms of the culture.
Yeah.
So that's not the time to start bad mouthing your organization. The culture is toxic. My manager micromanages. I'm not growing. No.
The salary is too small.
Yes. The salary pace increase is very snail like.
Oh God. No promotion. I've been there for 10 years.
No promotion, exactly. So listen, guys, that is not the time to badmouth the
Yeah.
organization.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, what you want to do is actually make sure you're not coming off as desperate.
Yeah.
and you're not coming off as a blabber, right? You want to position yourself as available but not desperate. So when you're asked that sort of question, why are you looking to leave your current job? What you want to say is, I'm pretty comfortable where I am. I, I like what I do. I am growing. However, something caught my eye when I saw this job ad. And then make sure that you have one, two, three things
Yes.
from the job description, the job ad, that you want to talk about. Say something around you know something that caught my eye was, say, the organization is going through a transition period and updating or changing their HRS is something I am very passionate about. I've done it before. I enjoyed it. So my point is, make sure you're not coming off as desperate. You're talking about one, two, three things that caught your eye in the job ad, and you just think that, this is the next direction for you. I also find out that people say things like, I'm looking for the next challenge in my career. Again, that's a very generic
Very
answer.
generic.
Yeah. You want to make sure that even though you're looking for the next challenge in your career, you are tying it to what this job actually
Yeah.
needs. Right? So and then you say, you let it be known that you're not desperate, you're passively looking. And yeah, passively, not aggressively, passively looking. And you think that based on those highlights that caught your attention, you think this will be the next move for you. But if it doesn't pan out, you're pretty comfortable where you are. So this makes you more desirable,
Yeah.
because they're like, this is someone who has the skills we need for this role, but he or she is pretty comfortable where they are. So, as an organization, how do we even position ourselves to be more appealing to
Yeah, and
this person?
attractive to, yes,
Attractive,
yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
No, thanks, Dikem. That's really spot on.
So, very quickly, the next question we'll take is another popular one, which is something about, tell me about your biggest weakness. This question is this. I always find it funny because it could go two ways for
Yes,
most people.
yes.
The first is, some people will be very blunt about their weakness, like, this friend of mine always late, always late, always late. In fact, we should change her name to Lateness. Lateness, how are you? It's been a while. So the people could be that blunt. Oh, my weakness is I'm always late, or my weakness is I have a short temper. So that's the one way most people answer. The other way is people try to embellish the weakness. They say things like, "Oh, I take on too much. I don't know when to stop. I overdrive myself. It's such a weakness. I put others before me." See, the recruiter can see through that. The recruiter knows what you're doing. You're trying to, again, embellish your weakness, trying to, a weakness that is one side weakness, one side strength. And the other is like just being too blunt and brash about your weakness. You don't want to go either way. When you're asked this question, guys, the way you want to answer it is, talk about something that is important but not crucial to the job. I'll give you an example. If I'm asked as an HR person, what's your weakness? I will not say something like, I am bad at communication, I suck at communication. Because
That's the crux of your role.
listen, that's the bloodline of HR. So of course, if I say that, no matter how accommodating the people want to be, it's such a red flag that they're like, no higher, no higher, no, no, please, right? But however, what I want to do is pick an aspect that is important but not crucial to the role. An example could be time management. A weakness for me is my time management skills are not as great as they should be. Now look at the language I'm using. I'm not using brash or negative language. I'm using more positive, more accommodating language. I'm saying my time management skill is not where it's supposed to be. It's something I'm walking through. Because, in the grand scheme, time management is not the most crucial thing in HR.
Yeah.
If you're talking about crucial things, you're talking about communication, you're talking about people management, and of course the expertise in HR. So that's something that will not mar your interview. It's not something that will throw the interviewer off.
Yeah.
So I hope that makes or made sense to you, but
Mhm.
that's the way I would answer it. And I think that's the way you'll be positioned as a prime candidate.
I mean, just to add to that, Dickems, if you may, would just be that, and when you talk about that, weakness, yeah, whatever that weakness. So in Dickens' point is that okay, time management. You may now also want to say what you're doing to improve on that time. So it could be that so I have maybe a prioritization framework,
Right.
or I'm able to like organize or compartmentalize, or this is what needs to be done in by this date and all of that. So I work with my manager to make sure that just so that I'm able to still hit all of the like the dates, the deadlines without.
Absolutely.
And if another way can also infuse to say that time management, that for you're someone who really wants to make sure that the things that you put out are like, of course, less rework for my manager and all that. So you really take your time, to make sure that you cross the T's, dot the I's. So just you get the pictures, but just kind of show or say something else you're doing to sort of improve and get that to more of a strength, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah. So
right,
that's just
right.
something to add.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Dickems. So just like so. I'm sure you've heard of this model before, but of course there are a couple of more questions that people that they will ask you. But I think one of the models we want to introduce, which I'm sure you've heard, like obviously it's not new to you, but we most times recommend this model because it helps you not speak amiss, so to speak.
Yeah.
It helps you structure your responses and makes your response very succinct and not like a blabbing. So I'm sure you heard of the STAR model, and really S stands for situation, T for task, A for action, and then R for results. That's pretty much. So when you hear people say STAR, that's what they really mean. I think there are other acronyms as well, but this is like the most common one. And I'll say, I think even for recruiters and HR, I always prefer, in that sense. And I'll give an example just to put this into context. So let's say, one of the questions that you were asked was, well, tell me about the time you solved the conflict. Like maybe as a leader, how do you resolve conflict within your team or something, like questions in that sense. Don't just say, oh, like maybe don't just say, oh, like don't just talk about maybe what the conflicts were, like they're just going on and on, talking about personality. Just use the STAR model. I can say something like, maybe two colleagues or two of your team members were not agreeing on a particular project, right? They just didn't seem to meet eye to eye on that particular project. That was the situation. And your task as the lead of the team was to make sure that they are both aligned, or to make sure that they both saw eye to eye or agreed on how that project should go. Each person had their opinion, but you as the lead tried to make sure that they were able to come to a reasonable conclusion and work together. So what you did, which is the action, was that you brought them together, helped them to sort of make them see how each other's opinions or recommendations towards that project made the most sense, and they both like reach a compromise. But you were sort of the person that brought them together to make them align on, okay, this is how we're going to go forward on this project. And the result was you were able to get the project was done. They worked together and they delivered at the total timeline. And and from then on, you can even say other projects they've worked they've worked well together and things like that. So you see how I've sort of like structured it in terms of what the situation was, what the task was, what you did, which was the action, and then the result, what was the outcome of that particular thing. So when you get those kind of questions, just remember the STAR model and try to structure your response in that using the STAR model. That way you won't just keep like going on and on and on, and then even say things that you shouldn't have said. Because with interviews,
talking of points,
oh my god, like
necessary.
It can happen. Like I remember one interview a while back that the interviewer told me that, oh, can you keep your responses succinct? I was so embarrassed, guys. I was like, oh, because like you don't talk, you don't and trust me, they don't call me back, and I knew they don't call me back because of that. Okay,
Bukola lost the plot. Okay, but yeah, that's a very good one. Always remember the STAR acronym. State the situation, the task, action and result, right?
Yeah.
The next bit, and this is closing out the episode, would be when preparing for interviews, prepare without sounding too scripted. A lot of times, we find ourselves preparing for interviews, memorizing scripts. There is now AI that helps us with these things, and we want to really memorize what AI is
Yeah.
telling us.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, sometimes you then come off robotic and scripted to the interviewer.
Yeah.
No interviewer enjoys that, because I might as well be talking to a robot, right? So make sure that even though you're going into an interview prepared, that you don't come off scripted.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
how do you do that? Try and infuse appropriate humor. Right? Please,
Emphasis on appropriate.
yes. Try and infuse appropriate humor into what you're saying, and also master the art of storytelling.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Make it more story like. That way you don't
Yeah.
sound too scripted.
Yeah.
But like Bukola's last point, make sure that even though you are communicating through storytelling, that it's not long-winded. Right? Don't start
Yeah.
talking about some unnecessary things and now say, I'm going somewhere. I'm going somewhere. Stick with me. Follow me.
Oh
I mean, you 10 more people and you're telling me to follow you where? My guy, get to the point.
Oh my God.
Right? So yes, please do that. Keep practicing for your interviews. It's tough out there.
Yes.
Bukola.
Oh no.
I read somewhere that the US now, unemployment basically has gone up. There's now more people unemployed than jobs available and things like that. I think it's the same thing in Canada.
It is. And the unemployment rate in Canada went up to 7%. I think, and said it's the highest since I think July 2022. That has been the highest. It was just
3 years.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. I know it's the same
Insane.
thing in
It's
like
insane.
Kenya. I don't have the data for Nigeria. But my point is, it looks like supply is more than demand.
Yes, guys.
So you need to make sure that you are standing out.
Just before we wrap up, one other question I know people they usually ask sometimes, but can be easily, or again you can hit it or you can nail it rather, or you can miss it, right? Is the one around, okay, so what's your unique value proposition? So you've said so many things, they've tested your skills, they like you, all of that, but there are like 10 candidates or 5 candidates who have almost something that you have. So what's going to be the different thing they're going to be bringing to the table, and why they should be picking you? What makes you unique, or what's your unique value proposition, kind of thing? Again, back to what Dickens was saying, I think here you want to make sure that aside what's already listed on the JD, you don't want to go to there, because it's something like, okay, if everybody else can do the JD, what else are you bringing extra?
Right.
So look at something else that is not on the JD, but will be relevant for the role. I think that's how you should look at it. It could even be, maybe, I'm just trying to think, it could be something like, probably you've worked across, so if I use my contest for an example, the role is maybe something in performance management or recruitment, but I have worked across the HR value chain, and I can say that I've done this before. So even if I need to maybe contribute or even take up more roles, for example, or lead projects in this area, I can bring the skills and my experiences to bear. Another thing I also bring my unique values proposition is the fact that, I have experience across other geographical markets, not just Canada. So Africa, other parts of Europe or whatever it is. Like I have, exactly. So you can, just think of something else that that is not exactly listed on the JD, but that it will be a value add if you bring it on board. So that's how we approach that.
Absolutely. As you were talking, I just remembered I actually landed, and it's funny because the topic of our series is landing the offer, right? I actually landed that offer, and the company, just that I didn't take it. A unique value proposition I had, I remember very clearly. The job did not require it. It wasn't on the JD, but somehow I mentioned it when I was being interviewed. The fact that I had board interaction. I understood board reporting. I understood interacting with board of directors, and also I had experience in mergers and acquisitions. So I understood, due diligence, reporting, all of that stuff. And I think that's really something that nailed it for me. So to Bukola's point, again, things outside of the JD, right, that will make you stand out from every other person they're interviewing. Interviewing is an opportunity for you to show in addition to tell. So make sure that you are positioning yourself appropriately.
Mhm.
Again, our time is limited. We can't go through like all the examples we had and whatnot, but we hope this helps you. We hope this pushes you to do some
Mhm.
more research,
Mhm.
to prepare better, to ensure that you're not sounding scripted,
Yeah.
to answer questions better and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it from us. Bukola, any?
No, it's just saying to Dekem's point, like I know, yeah, do some research, but if you also feel like you're prepping for an interview, just need some kind of further guidance and all that, hit us up, like reach out to us. We can work out something,
Right.
to just help you prepare for that interview and make sure that you land that offer for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, until next time, guys, please like, share, subscribe. You know what to do now, just do it. Okay,
Thank
take care.
you.
Bye.
Bye.